Depending on the current condition, you might be able to add 1 to 3 more units, even 5 to 6 units. If you have a back lane or the lot is big enough, you can build a small structure in the rear for 1 or 2 extra units. Or you can build a small building first in the back. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to talk about how to convert your home into 4 to 6 units. We have touched base on a new multiplex construction before. Now, what about renovation and adding more units? I think this approach is more realistic and budget friendly. So many people are considering it. But you don't know where to start? Okay, now let me ask you some questions. Do you have an old house and live there by yourself? Or are you looking to buy an old house and flip it? Is your budget tight, making it difficult to build new multiplexes? Are you considering renovating your existing house? Depending on its size, it might be a great idea to add 2 or 3 rental suites during the renovation to help with your mortgage. Ever since I was college student, one of my favorite TV programs has been Income Property from HGTV. For those who aren't familiar, Income Property is a show where the host Scott McLivray helps homeowners convert part of their home into rental units to generate extra income. It is a fantastic way to see real-life examples of how additional rental space can significantly boost your income while improving your property. I was daydreaming about this when I was young. Actually, who wouldn't want to earn extra money by renting out unused space? In this housing crisis era, you know how expensive a 2-bedroom rental suite in a house or a condo can be. Ideally, you could demolish the old house and build new 4plexes, living in one unit and renting out the other 3, or having your family live in another unit. However, construction costs are pretty high these days, and this isn't an option for everyone. But what if I told you that you can add 2 or 3 rental units to your existing home with this new zoning bylaw? It is much cheaper than building a new structure. I know it might sound like exaggeration, but it is possible and more realistic with this updated zoning bylaw. There are many factors to consider depending on the condition of your existing home. For example, how large is your old home? How is your house situated on a lot? Is the lot flat or does it have a slope? Does it have a back lane? There are tons of things to consider. Depending on the current condition, you might be able to add 1 to 3 more units, even 5 to 6 units. If you have a back lane or the lot is big enough, you can build a small structure in the rear for 1 or 2 extra units. Or you can build a small building first in the back. It is called a laneway house, coach house, carriage house, or accessory dwelling unit, depending on the city, and live there while the main house is under renovation. There are many options depending on the situation. All the other cities' zoning bylaws are changing or changed already, and the renovation to add more rental suites could be a quicker and more realistic answer, similar to Income Property TV show, but a more upgraded version, because now we can build up to 6 units on a single-family house lot across BC without the rezoning process. This is huge news and big one. Okay. In this episode, I like to talk about how to renovate or add more units to existing homes. It is not a simple topic, but let's give it a try. Let's explore how to convert a single-family home into a multi-family home. Here are some key consideration scenarios. How do we divide or add to the house? There are several ways to divide or add an additional unit to your house. This choice depends on the size of your house or lot, your budget, and your goals. For instance, do you need an extra unit for family members, or are you planning to add an additional unit for rental purposes to help you with your mortgage? However, keep in mind that some cities also add fees for any additional unit that would be built on your property. Budget is a significant factor that determines the extent of changes you can make. The more difficult the project, the higher the cost. Here are some possible ways to renovate or add units to your home. I will categorize this construction based on their difficulty. Level 1, I call it basic or simple renovation. Number 1, converting your basement into another unit. This has been very popular over the years, so I will not explain much. Just note that a separate entrance and ceiling height are important. Number 2, converting your attached garage. If you think your attached garage is big enough to be converted into another dwelling unit, this one's for you. Check if the attached garage meets the minimum area requirements for dwelling units. This includes accounting for the area reduction caused by the new fire-rated wall that separates each unit. Number 3, converting your detached garage. Number 4, splitting your house where another floor can be converted into a dwelling unit. This splitting can be done horizontally or vertically. There are two options for splitting your house and converting some area into a dwelling unit. Does your building have additional access from the main floor and another from the upper floor through a deck? If so, we can split your house horizontally easily. So how does this work? We'll be using the main access for the ground unit, and the access through the deck will be converted as an entrance for the upper unit. Aside from that, we'll also convert the floors into fire-rated. This type of renovation is relatively straightforward since the floors are already intended for residential use. However, if you feel this layout doesn't suit your needs, we also have the option for vertical splitting. What you are going to do is, since the most houses only have one stair on the inside of the building, to make vertical splitting work, we would add an additional stair to accommodate additional dwelling units. Then the walls and floors separating each unit must be converted into fire separation walls and floors. Now, let's move on to the next level. I call it moderate construction, or adding units within current updated zoning bylaw. Adding units to the rear or side part of a property. If you wish to leave the principal building as it is and just wanted to add additional income, if you have a large space at the rear area of the lot with a lane, adding a laneway house, a garden suite, or coach house may be ideal for you. Okay, let's move on to level 3, more complex construction. Also, I call it renovation and significant addition. Splitting your house or converting some areas into another unit while also constructing additional building to the side or rear part of the property. If you believe there is a significant potential for many renters at your property, or it is close to transit-oriented area where minimum parking requirements have been removed, making it ideal for constructing multiple units, this option is for you. Basically, this is a mixture of the option we discussed a few minutes ago. Ideally, it would be best to first construct a rear building and stay there for a few months while the main building is being renovated. Please note that these renovations and additions depend on your current house and property. Okay, now let's quickly review the summary of the determinants that make the renovation or addition possible on your site. First thing first, if you hire an architect, the first thing we would do is, number 1, assess the access and exit points for each dwelling unit. Number 2, determine possible access routes for each dwelling unit. Number 3, check the height of each floor. Number 4, check the floor area. Number 5, assess the structural capacity of the building. Can the existing structure support the additional weight? A structural engineer may need to assess the building and advise on its capacity and any necessary reinforcements. Number 6, evaluate utilities. Since many buildings undergone renovation were not originally designed to accommodate additional units, in some cases, adding more than 4 dwelling units in cities like Vancouver may necessitate a pad-mounted transformer, which can be time-consuming if not properly planned and pretty pricey. Alright, that's it for today's video. In our next video, part 2, we will be conducting a couple of case studies for existing residential lots under the new multiplex zoning bylaw. We will explore different types of renovations and additions that you can implement on your site. Thank you for watching, guys, and I see you in the next one.